If you're listening tonight with a heart that feels like it's been cracked open, if the weight of grief or loneliness or disappointment has been pressing down on your chest until it's hard to breathe, this is your safe harbor. This is the place where you don't have to pretend to be okay. Maybe you found your way here because the pain won't let you sleep. Maybe you're carrying a hurt that no one else seems to understand. Or perhaps there's just this dull ache in your soul that won't go away, no matter how many worship songs you play or sermons you listen to. Wherever you are, however broken you feel, I want you to know something right at the start. God isn't waiting for you to get it together before He meets you here. He's not standing at a distance until you can smile again. The Bible tells us He's close to the brokenhearted, not close to the people who have it all figured out. So tonight, let this be your permission slip. Permission to not have answers. Permission to still be hurting. Permission to bring your unfiltered, unedited pain into God's presence. Let's begin by simply breathing together. Not to fix anything, not to force peace, just to remind your body and soul that in this moment you are held. If it helps, you can close your eyes or find a comfortable position. There's no right or wrong way to do this. Breathe in slowly through your nose. God, you're here. Breathe out through your mouth. I don't have to pretend. Again, breathe in. You see the real me. Breathe out, and you don't turn away. One more time. Breathe in deeply. You are my safe place. Breathe out completely. I can let go here. However you're feeling right now, whether the tears are flowing or your heart feels numb, it's welcome here. The Psalms we're going to rest in tonight weren't written by people who had it all together. They were written by warriors hiding in caves, kings running for their lives, ordinary people wrestling with betrayal, loss, and crushing disappointment. These are prayers for when your faith feels too tired for fancy words, for when all you can manage is a whispered, "God help." That's more than enough. Tonight isn't about performing or achieving some spiritual milestone. It's about letting truth sink deeper than your pain. It's about remembering that even in your brokenness, especially in your brokenness, you are utterly known and completely loved. So as we continue, I invite you to let go of any pressure to feel a certain way. There's no test at the end. No hidden agenda. Just you and the God who collects every tear you've cried. If your mind starts to wander to all the things you should be doing or feeling, gently bring yourself back to the sound of this voice, back to these ancient words that have comforted millions before you, back to this truth. You are not alone tonight. You are not forgotten. You are held by the same hands that carved out the oceans and hung the stars in place. And those hands will not let you go. Let's begin our time in the Psalms, not as strangers to pain, but as people who know that healing often starts when we finally stop running and let ourselves be found. Let's turn together to Psalm 139, a prayer for when you feel completely exposed, when your pain is too deep for words, when you wonder if anyone truly sees you. These words were written by someone who knew what it was to feel hunted, to feel afraid, to feel the weight of his own failures. O Lord, you have searched me, and you know me. Just sit with that for a moment. The God who shaped the cosmos knows you. Not just your name, not just your surface-level story, but the parts of you that even you don't understand. You know when I sit and when I rise. The mundane moments, the exhausted collapse onto the couch after a day that drained you. The nights you've lain awake staring at the ceiling. He sees it all. You perceive my thoughts from afar. Every unspoken fear, every angry question you've choked back, every whispered why that claws its way up your throat in the dark. He isn't shocked. He isn't disappointed. He perceives, which means he attends to them with holy care. You discern my going out and my lying down. Your frantic attempts to outrun the pain. Your weary surrender to grief when no one's watching. Even then, especially then, you are familiar with all my ways. The coping mechanisms you're ashamed of. The way you shut down when it hurts too much. The habits you wish you could break. Familiar doesn't mean tolerant. It means intimately acquainted. Like a parent who knows their child's tells before the tears fall. Like a shepherd who recognizes one sheep's limp in a flock of hundreds. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Let this truth sink deeper than your shame. The hands that carved the cosmos are the hands that shaped you. Now listen to verses 23 and 24. Words to pray when you don't trust yourself anymore. Search me, O God, and know my heart. Not fix me, not scold me, but know me. What if the bravest prayer right now isn't for healing, but for being seen in your unhealed places? Test me and know my anxious thoughts. He already does. This is an invitation to stop hiding your shaking hands from the one who knit your bones together. See if there is any offensive way in me. Notice, David doesn't say, "Tell me how awful I am." He asks God to reveal what harms his own soul. There's a world of difference, and lead me in the way everlasting. Not drag me, not guilt-trip me. Lead me. One breath, one shaky step at a time. Some of you need to hear this tonight. God isn't afraid of your darkest thoughts. The ones that scare you to admit, the memories that make you flinch, the questions that feel blasphemous. He already sees them, and he stays. You've maybe been taught that God is only near when you're righteous. But Psalm 139 paints a different picture. A God who pursues you into the shadows, who isn't repelled by your mess, but leans in closer. If you've ever been betrayed, abandoned, or made to feel like your pain was too much for people, this is sacred ground. The God who counts every hair on your head also collects every tear you've cried when no one was looking. I want you to imagine something with me. Picture Jesus sitting silently beside you right now. Not across from you, not at a safe distance, but next to you. Close enough to touch. Notice what he's not doing. He's not checking his watch. He's not interrupting to correct you. He's not handing you a 3-step plan. He's just present. The way you sit with a grieving friend when words fail. His eyes aren't pitying, they're knowing, because the hands that hold you still bear the scars of his own suffering. If there's something you need to say to him in this moment, do it now. He can handle your anger, your silence, your whispered, "I don't even know what to ask for anymore." Let this truth sink deeper than your pain tonight. I am not alone in my struggle. Say it with me if you can. I am not alone in my struggle. Not because the battle is over, but because the one who fights for you never leaves the field. You might feel abandoned, but you are seen. You might feel forgotten, but you are known. You might feel unlovable, but you are cherished. We'll linger here a little longer. Let these words wash over you like a balm. You have searched me, and you know me. You perceive my thoughts from afar. You are familiar with all my ways. If Psalm 139 reminds us that God knows our deepest thoughts, Psalm 34 meets us in what we do with them. Because to be fully known is one thing, but to be answered, that's where fear loses its grip. Let's breathe this truth in now. Inhale, God hears me. Exhale, even this fear. Listen. Let's breathe together for a moment before we begin. Inhale slowly. You are near, God. Exhale fully. I don't have to pretend to be strong. Tonight we sit with just one verse, but oh, what a verse it is. Psalm 34:4. Words hammered out on the anvil of real terror. David wrote this when he was running for his life, when his hands shook so badly he couldn't hold a weapon, when his own saliva tasted like fear. Listen closely now. Let the words sink into your tired places. I sought the Lord, and he answered me. He delivered me from all my fears. There's an old rabbinic tale about a young mother during the Babylonian exile. Her name was Rivka, though history barely remembers her. When the soldiers came burning villages, she hid her 3 children in a wine vat, whispering, "Don't make a sound," as she closed the lid. Then she stood in the road, alone, waiting. The captain grabbed her by the hair, pressed his sword to her throat, and demanded to know where the children were hidden. She closed her eyes, and in that suspended second between heartbeats, she didn't pray for rescue. She prayed, "God, be here." Just then, a horn sounded in the distance. The soldiers froze. Their orders had changed. They left her standing there, her knees giving way as she crumpled onto the dirt. The children were safe. But for 40 years after, Rivka would tell anyone who asked, "He answered me, but not how I expected. He didn't stop the sword. He stopped me from forgetting. He was watching." Some of you need this truth tonight. God's answer doesn't always mean a solution. Sometimes his answer is simply this: His presence in the fire, not the absence of flames. When David says, "He delivered me from all my fears," the Hebrew word natsal means to snatch from the grip of. Not necessarily removing the threat, but removing fear's stranglehold on your soul. Maybe your miracle tonight isn't a changed circumstance, but the strength to whisper through tears, "I'm still here, so you must still be good." Think back, when has God met you in unexpected ways? The hospital waiting room where you suddenly felt warmth spread through your chest like liquid peace. The midnight breakdown when a friend just happened to call at 2:17 a.m. The morning you opened your Bible to a random page, and the verse practically glowed with your name on it. These are answers too. Maybe not the ones you demanded, but the ones your soul actually needed. Where does it hurt most tonight? Name it plainly. "God, I can't sleep because I'm drowning in." Why won't you? He can handle your rawest words. The psalmist did this constantly. "How long, O Lord? Wake up. Have you forgotten me?" And yet these brutal prayers are preserved as sacred scripture. Place your hand over your heart. Feel its stubborn beating. Now say with me, "I sought, and he answers. Not always how I want, but always how I need." We'll end with this. The Hebrew word for answer here, ana, means to eye you in your struggle. Not a distant shout, but a close whisper. Your pain has his full attention tonight. Sleep now, held in that certainty. He isn't finished answering. Being heard is powerful, but Psalm 62 takes us deeper. Here, David isn't crying out anymore. He's too tired for words. This is the prayer of slumped shoulders, of a soul learning to let go. If you're there tonight, if your why has run out of energy, this is your invitation. Inhale, I release. Exhale, I receive. Rest. Before we read, I need you to know something. Psalm 62 isn't for the spiritually polished. It's for those who've run out of holy words, who whisper help through clenched teeth at 2 a.m. If that's you tonight, breathe deep. This is sanctuary. Find rest, O my soul, in God alone. My hope comes from Him. David wrote this after years of running from spears, from shame, from his own mistakes. Not as a king on a throne, but as a man in a cave, tasting blood from bitten lips. So when he says find rest, he's not preaching, he's gasping it. What's the weight you've been carrying alone? Maybe it's the call you're afraid to make, the diagnosis you can't say out loud, the marriage that feels like a minefield. Picture it now not as some abstract burden, but as that crumpled receipt in your pocket. The one with scribbled hospital times, the gym bag still packed from the night you left. Now see Jesus, not floating above you, kneeling in the dirt beside you. His palms are scarred and open. With your next exhale, let it go. It's safe to not have answers tonight. Safe because his shoulders are wider than your shame. Safe even if the weight returns tomorrow. This isn't let go and let God. It's I can't hold this anymore, so I won't. Psalm 62 ends with two words, trust Him. But tonight, just breathe. That's enough. That receipt in your pocket, the one you keep folding smaller and smaller each day, as if making it tiny could make the pain tiny too. Jesus sees the creases. He knows how many times you've taken it out and put it back. The gym bag by your door, still zipped up from that night. The clothes inside probably don't even fit anymore. The shoes still have mud from the driveway where you stood frozen. He remembers the weather that night. Those hospital numbers scribbled in the margin of your planner. The ones you pretend are just random digits. He knows how many times you've traced them with your thumb while waiting in line for coffee. How the ink has smudged from your nervous sweating. His scarred palms aren't just for show. They're workman's hands, familiar with splinters and strain. They don't flinch when you place sharp-edged burdens in them. The cave David wrote this in, it wasn't some holy sanctuary. It smelled like wet stone and unwashed clothes. The ground was uneven. Bats rustled in the corners. This psalm was born in that kind of raw, uncomfortable reality, not in a stained glass chapel. When he says, "My soul finds rest," he means the kind of rest that comes after days of running. The kind where your legs give out, not because you've arrived somewhere safe, but because they simply can't move anymore. That's when God meets us. Not at the finish line, but at the point of collapse. The hope that comes from him isn't a shiny new solution. It's the strength to take one more breath, then another, until eventually, without you even noticing, breathing becomes living again. So tonight, don't try to trust him for forever. Just trust him for this breath. Then the next one. That's how souls find rest. One surrendered moment at a time. 3 Psalms. 1 unshakable truth. The God who knows your hidden thoughts, who answers your desperate cries, is the same God holding you now in the silence. You don't have to perform or even form words. Just breathe and let the one who never sleeps watch over you tonight. It's time now, time to lay it all down. Every anxious thought that's been circling your mind like vultures. Every memory that keeps jolting you awake just as you start to drift. Every what if that claws at your peace. You've carried it long enough for one day. Let's practice surrender together. Place one hand on your chest. Feel the rise and fall of your breathing. Now imagine Jesus standing before you with outstretched hands. Not demanding, just waiting. Let's pray slowly. Hold what I can't carry tonight. The grief that's too heavy for my shoulders, the regret that keeps replaying, the fear about tomorrow. I'm placing them in your hands now, not because I have perfect faith, but because I'm finally tired enough to stop pretending I can do this alone. Let's prepare your body for rest, your forehead where worry creases your skin. Smooth it gently with your fingertips. You don't have to figure everything out tonight. Your shoulder, hunched from carrying invisible weights. Roll them back, let them drop. These burdens weren't meant for you to bear. your hand clenched tight all day. Open them, palms up on your bed. It's safe to release your grip now. As you sink deeper into your pillow, let these truths wash over you like warm oil. You are safe, because the one who neither slumbers nor sleeps is keeping watch tonight. You are held, like a child cradled against a parent's chest, close enough to hear the steady heartbeat of heaven. You are seen. Every tear, every silent scream, every unspoken longing. You are loved, not when you get better, not when you finally overcome, but right now, in this exact broken but breathing state. With every exhale, release one thing: my need to control, my shame about yesterday, my terror about tomorrow, my disbelief that I'll ever heal. And with every inhale, receive peace that doesn't make sense, grace that covers the gaps, mercy that's new this very second. As sleep comes, remember, the same hands that carved canyon depths, that painted galaxies across the cosmos, are the hands holding you tonight. They will not grow weary. They will not forget you. They will not let go. You can rest now. It's safe to close your eyes. You are held. You are loved. You are home.